This is the early morning of the 3rd of December 2025. I'm going to do this in two parts, and the reason being is I don't trust the software from crashing. This is a 20-minute clip. Again, I'll do it in two parts. Donald Trump medical team sparked panic after rumors of a possible stroke. Jimmy Kimmel. Let's listen to the first segment, and again, it'll play for about 10 minutes. This is put up by Future in View.
Hello, everyone. This is Jimmy Kimmel. All right, so let me tell you what just happened, and I've got to be honest with you. This one's got me worried, really worried. Trump's medical team just sparked a massive panic after stroke rumors started circulating. And I'm not talking about some conspiracy theory cooked up in somebody's basement. I'm talking about legitimate concerns from doctors, physical therapists, medical professionals who are looking at this guy and saying something's not right here or something's seriously wrong, and the White House is doing everything they can to cover it up. But you can't hide reality forever. Eventually, the truth comes out, and it's coming out right now, right before our eyes. So let's start with the basics. Donald Trump is 79 years old. He's the oldest person ever to be elected president of the United States. He's older than Biden was when Biden took office. And that's saying something because we all remember how much they talked about Biden's age. Every single day it was Biden this, Biden that. He's too old. He's senile. He's falling apart. Well, guess what? Trump's older. And unlike Biden, who used to ride his bike on weekends, who exercised regularly, who stayed active, Trump doesn't do any of that. He believes, and I'm not making this up, he believes that human beings have a finite amount of energy, like a battery. And if you exercise, you're using up that energy faster. So he doesn't exercise. He eats fast food by the sackful, McDonald's, Kentucky Fried Chicken, Diet Coke all day long. And he's 79 years old. His father, Fred Trump, died of dementia. It runs in the family. So right off the bat, we've got a high-risk situation here. Now, here's where it gets really interesting. Back in early October, Trump went to Walter Reed National Military Medical Center. The White House was super secretive about it. They wouldn't say why he was there. They wouldn't release any details. And then Trump, because he can't help himself, he let it slip. He told reporters he got an MRI. Now, if you don't know what an MRI is, it's a medical scan. They use it to look at your brain, your organs, your joints. You don't just get an MRI for fun. You get an MRI because a doctor thinks something might be wrong. They're looking for tumors, strokes, heart problems, joint injuries. It's a diagnostic tool. So Trump admits he got an MRI, but he won't say why. He says it was very standard, that the doctor said he should get one, that the results were some of the best reports they've ever seen. Classic Trump. Everything's the best. Everything's tremendous. But here's the thing. A former White House physician came out and said, hold on a second. Trump spent way more time at Walter Reed than you would if you were just getting a quick MRI. He could have gotten additional tests done, brain scans, heart scans, who knows what else. And the White House won't tell us. They won't release the results. They won't let his doctors take questions from the press. Zero transparency. Just like they accused the Biden White House of doing, except now they're doing it themselves. And you know what? People are noticing. On September 11th, Trump attended a ceremony at the Pentagon. It was the 24th anniversary of the 9/11 attacks, and people watching the ceremony noticed something. The right side of Trump's face was drooping. Seriously drooping, like one side of his face wasn't working properly. Now, if you know anything about strokes, you know that facial drooping is one of the classic signs. One-sided facial paralysis. It's literally what they teach you to look for. Face drooping, arm weakness, speech difficulty. That's how you recognize a stroke. And Trump's face was drooping on camera in front of everybody, and social media went crazy. People were posting pictures, videos saying, look at this. This looks like a stroke. Something's wrong. And the White House, their response was pathetic. They said it was lighting and camera angles. Lighting and camera angles. Like we're idiots, like we can't see with our own eyes what's happening. Now, I'm not a doctor, I'm an actor, but I've spent my whole career studying people, watching them, understanding how they move, how they talk, how they behave. And I'm telling you, something's off with Trump. It's not just the facial drooping, it's his walk. Have you seen him walk lately? There's a video that went viral showing him walking, and his right leg is dragging. He's limping. His gait is uneven. And a physical therapist a doctor of physical therapy with 14 years of experience treating geriatric patients. She analyzed the video. She broke it down step by step. She said, look at how his right leg just flops toward the ground. That's weakness in the hamstring. That's consistent with a stroke on the left side of the brain, which would cause weakness on the right side of the body. She said, look at how short his left step is. That's because he doesn't trust his right leg to hold up his body weight. This is classic post-stroke gait, or it could be frontotemporal dementia. Either way, it's neurological decline. It's serious, and nobody's talking about it. Well, we're talking about it now. And then there's the New York Times. The New York Times just published a detailed, data-driven report about Trump's health and his schedule, and let me tell you, it's damning. They analyzed his public schedule for this year and compared it to his first term, and the difference is shocking. In 2017, during his first year in office, Trump held 1,688 official events between January 20th and November 25th. This year, for the same time period, he's held only 1,029 official events. That's a 39% decrease, 39%. He's doing almost 40% less work than he did 8 years ago. And his schedule starts later now. In 2017, his first official event of the day started at 10:30 a.m. on average. This year, it starts at 12:08 p.m. He's not getting to work until afternoon. Most of his public appearances fall between noon and 5 p.m. That's a 5-hour workday. 5 hours, compare that to Obama, who started his day around 10 a.m. and worked until 7 p.m. Compare it to George W. Bush, who was in the Oval Office by 6:45 a.m. every morning. Both of them exercised regularly. Both of them maintained full schedules. Trump doesn't. He's working less. He's starting later, and he's showing signs of fatigue. The Times report also mentioned an incident in early November. Trump was in the Oval Office for an event about drug prices, and he was seen repeatedly closing his eyes. He looked like he was dozing off. His eyelids were drooping until his eyes were almost closed. He was falling asleep in the middle of the day, sitting in a chair with reporters in the room, and he only stood up when somebody behind him collapsed and needed medical attention. Think about that. The President of the United States is falling asleep during official events, and they're trying to tell us he's in excellent health, that his cognitive abilities are perfect, that he aced his cognitive test. It's a joke, it's insulting, and people are starting to see through it. Now, Trump responded to the New York Times article. Of course he did. He went on Truth Social and had a total meltdown. He called the reporters at the Times creeps. He said the story was a hit piece. He called the reporter who wrote it, Katie Rogers, ugly both inside and out, which, by the way, is exactly the kind of thing you'd expect from a mature, stable president, calling female reporters ugly, real classy. But here's what's interesting. In his rant, Trump admitted something. He said, there will be a day when I run low on energy. It happens to everyone. He's acknowledging that his energy is finite, that it's declining. But then he tries to cover it up by saying, but with a perfect physical exam and a comprehensive cognitive test that was aced just recently taken, it certainly is not now. Except we haven't seen those test results. We haven't seen the MRI results. We haven't seen anything. We're just supposed to take his word for it. And Trump's word, as we all know, isn't worth the paper it's not written on. And let me tell you something else. The White House physician, Dr. Sean Barbabella, released a memo in April saying Trump was in excellent overall health, that his cardiovascular vitality was approximately 14 years younger than his chronological age, 14 years younger. So Trump's 79, but his heart is 65. Okay, great. Except that memo didn't address any of the concerns people have been raising. It didn't explain the bruises on his hands. It didn't explain the swelling in his ankles. It didn't explain the facial drooping or the limping or the cognitive lapses. And Dr. Barbabella won't take questions from reporters. He won't hold a press conference. He won't explain anything. Just like Trump's physicians during his first term, when Trump got COVID in 2020, they didn't hold medical briefings. When he was hospitalized, they gave the bare minimum information. And after the assassination attempt in Butler, Pennsylvania, there were no medical briefings at all. Zero transparency. Always hiding, always covering up. And here's the thing that really gets me. Congresswoman Jasmine Crockett from Texas, she just launched a formal investigation into Trump's health. She sent a letter to Dr. Barbabella asking very specific questions. Has the president experienced a heart attack or stroke in the past 15 years? Have health issues interfered with his ability to perform his duties? Does he use assisted devices like a cane or brace privately? What's causing the repeated instances of facial paralysis and mobility issues? And what's the medical basis for asserting that he's fully fit to serve as commander-in-chief? These are legitimate questions the American people deserve answers to, because this isn't about politics. This is about national security. If the president of the United States is having strokes, if he's suffering from dementia, if he can't walk without assistance, we need to know.
That'll be the end of the first segment. And I did this for my own edification because I need to know what's in these. And most of you will just go to the link, which is perfectly fine. But then you miss my commentary. I'll attach the link. Stand by for part 2. And thanks for listening.